Beagles are one of the cutest and the most stubborn breed of dogs on the planet. And if you have zero experience training Beagles, it can be impossible to get them to listen to a single word you say. So this video is going to solve that by showing you 3 things that most Beagle owners get completely wrong and how to avoid them. By the end, you'll get your Beagle to listen and finally understand simple commands. My name is Saro, an expert dog trainer and coach to dog owners for over 20 years, who's helped hundreds of Beagle owners to go from completely ignored to fully in control. So before we get into the 3 tips, let me show you something that completely changed the way I work with Beagles. Did you know that according to Coren Scale, one of the most respected measures of dog intelligence and obedience, a Beagle is 7 times more likely to ignore your first command than almost any other dog breed. Now here's where most Beagle owners get wrong about that statistics. They hear it and they say my Beagle is just stubborn or my Beagle won't listen. But that's not what's actually happening. Your Beagle is not ignoring you because they're difficult. They're ignoring you because they have 220 million scent receptors telling them there is something far more interesting happening 3 streets away. Their nose is basically a supercomputer and it's running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But how do you get inside that computer? Here's what I've learned after 20 years of working with dogs, especially Beagles. The owners who have the most obedient Beagle are not the ones who have the best treats. They're the ones whose dogs are completely obsessed with them and they're in love. Their Beagle watches them, follows them, checks in with them, because being around the person is the most exciting thing in the world. When you achieve that, responding to commands becomes part of the fun. So how can you become the most magnetic person in the world for your Beagle? You may think that treats are the solution. After all, you've been told that they are very food motivated or food driven. But in reality, there's something even more interesting than food for them, and that's playing. So when you play with your dog, real engaging or interactive play with your dog, you're activating the same reward system or reward centers in the brain that the scent of a prey does. So therefore you become the source of excitement, stimulation, and fun. So you may be asking, how can I actually train my Beagle while playing? Simple. Teach your Beagle simple commands, and for the reward, instead of treats, use a talk toy. Play chase. Play hiding and calling your Beagle to find you. Mix those commands of sit and stay, for instance, into your play session so that responding to your commands becomes part of the fun. So when your Beagle learns that listening to you becomes best part of the day, everything else, even treats, are not that important. And you become the most valuable thing in the world. That's what exactly I've done with my own Beagles and with hundreds of clients. If you want me to work with you and your Beagle so it finally follows commands and behaves correctly, go to the first link or the first pinned comment. But yeah, coming back to the video. Now that you know that more treats are not the solution, you may be tempted to not buy them ever again. But that's not what I recommend to my clients. I suggest to use treats for sake of just providing treats to your dog for no reason. Because you see, Beagles are hunting dogs. They were bred for one purpose: to track scent and follow it no matter what. And here's what most people don't realize. For Beagles, the act of finding the prey is the reward. The actual chasing and finding the prey is the reward. The chase, the track, the hunt, that's their version of finding food, finding reward. That's what makes them feel fulfilled. Remember, the chase is the reward. So if you show treats to a beagle before they follow a command, if you reward or just give them a bunch of treats before or after that training session, be like your boss paying you before you did the work. How motivated would you be actually to show up to work and do the job? Probably not very. So your beagle operates the same way. In your mind, treats are the reward. But when that treat, the reward, comes too easily or comes too soon or comes too fast, listening to you loses its value because you become predictable, optional, and also easy to ignore. And that's why most beagle owners feel like their beagle just doesn't listen and doesn't respect them, because the reward used in this training method or this training system accidentally teaches them that the reward isn't worth much. So starting today, I want you to practice giving commands to your dog without showing or providing the reward. Ask for the behavior and instead reward with a play or praise when they comply. But make sure that your beagle is responding to your voice and your energy, not to what is in your pocket. So at this point, you may be very excited. You're going to play while you're training your beagle as a reward, and everything is going to be great. But here's the problem. You can do all of that and your beagle still won't change because of one big mistake that dog owners make. You see, beagles are adorable. Those big fluffy ears, those poor-me eyes. It's almost impossible to say no to them. When they jump on a guest and you laugh because it looks cute, when they ignore your command and you just let it go because you don't feel like dealing with it right now, I get it. Correcting them all the time breaks your heart. But here's the problem with that. Beagles, because they are very smart dog, they pick up on inconsistency faster than any other breed. If the rules exist sometime, but not all the time, or not any other time, they will test you every time to see which version of you shows up. So how can you combat this? Simple. Be consistent with the rules. When you have some rules set and the rules are the same every single day, trust me, your beagle feels safer and more confident. Your beagle will be more relaxed and it's going to listen to you more reliably as a result. So next time your beagle does something that they shouldn't, no matter how cute they look doing it, calmly and clearly redirect them every time. Not most of the time, every time. And I know one of the most common problems that beagle owners deal with is beagles pulling on the leash. So go ahead and watch this video where I'll show you how to stop that annoying pulling once and for all by simply one trick that I'm going to teach you. I'll see you in there in a moment.